Hi everyone, it's Michaela. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about how to pick the university you attend because let's be honest, it's really scary applying to all these universities and just trying to figure out which ones to even apply to. I just went through the college application process back in October of 2020, and you might be wondering how I ended up at a university and got accepted in November for spring 2021. I go to a very small school, so I just contacted them. I was like, hey, I applied for fall 2021. Is there any way that I can get it bumped up to spring 2021? And they emailed me back and they're like, yeah, see you basically next month. So that's how I am where I am today. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and let's dive in. The first category I will be touching on is location. This is a huge thing for when picking a school, at least it was for me, because you don't want to go to a university where you hate the location of it and you're never going to want to do anything near or around your university. All the schools I applied to were near the beach. Even in Alaska, my school is half a mile from the harbor. So I applied to Cal State Long Beach, Cal State Monterey Bay, and University of Alaska Southeast, which are all by the beach. Another thing that drew me to Alaska is the hiking. I love hiking and I love being at the beach, but I also love being in the mountains with the snow. So that is what drew me to Alaska. It was pretty much everything that I wanted in a university location-wise, and it met in the middle because half a mile that way I have the harbor and I can go watch the sea lions and I can go tide pooling, and then about a mile that way I have the glacier and the mountains, and I just went on a hike there last week and it was great. So location is a really big deal, at least it was for me when picking a university, because you're gonna want to go to a university somewhere where you're gonna enjoy being outside. The next category is programs and class selections. This was something that I didn't really think too much into until I got accepted into Cal State Monterey Bay. So probably the week before I came home for spring break, my Cal State Monterey Bay acceptance email came in, and I was kind of bummed. I was like, Monterey is really close to home. I wouldn't have to fly home constantly. And I thought about transferring. I was like, maybe I just don't belong here. Maybe I should transfer for the fall. And then I ended up looking back at Cal State Monterey Bay's website. Keep in mind, they were my dream school for like 2 years, for a very long time. And I was set in stone that I was gonna go there before I found UAS. And I looked back on their program and it was marine science. I'm marine biology. I love focusing on like the life aspect of the ocean rather than like the whole ocean as a whole, like chemistry and all that other good stuff. So Cal State Monterey Bay has a marine science program, and I looked back at their courses that they offered, and in my opinion, UAS courses just fit me as a person a whole lot better than Monterey Bay classes did. It was at that point in time where I thought to myself, I ended up genuinely where I belong, and I belong at UAS because our courses are amazing. We have great marine biology electives, fisheries electives, you name it. We have great biology and marine biology programs here. If you're into marine science and like the technology side of marine science and data and all that other stuff, UAS probably isn't the school for you, but you would probably thrive at Cal State Monterey Bay because a lot of their courses are focused in like data and analoging and all the stuff that goes along with marine science. Next is, you obviously want the university you are applying to have a great program for the degree you are going for. So UAS ranks number 5 for marine biology, and I believe in another list they were number 10. So you want to make sure the school you're applying to has a reputable program for the degree you want to go to, and who wouldn't want to go to a school that is ranked really high for the major you're going for? Not me, at least. The next category I will be touching on is the actual school as a whole. So first, you want to look at the size. I think UAS has less than 2,000 students, maybe 2,000 at the very most. and that was perfect for me. In our whole dormitory right now, keep in mind, we're on like restriction because of COVID, and every dorm is at half capacity. But I think even at the dorms, the highest that they can hold is 100 maybe. There's like 42 of us here right now. And my chemistry class had like 18 people. My biology class had 11 people. And it's just really, really great. I thrive in a smaller class setting because I can get more one-on-one time with the professors. My community college had like 23,000 people enrolled, and my chemistry lecture had like 85 people, and it was really hard to get that personal connection with the professor so they would help you, and it was really hard to get into their office hours. So personally for me, a small school was a must. I wasn't a big fan of Long Beach. Long Beach is a really, really big school. I really only applied to have other options. But Cal State Monterey is a pretty small school, and UAS is even smaller than Cal State Monterey. So you want to look at their school size. If you're going to thrive in a larger school setting, UAS is not the school for you. But if you're going to thrive in a really small school setting, UAS might be a good contender for you. Next is to look at housing and meal plans that are offered. I know the housing at UAS really caught my attention because they have apartments. I know a lot of colleges have apartments for their students, but something about UAS housing just caught my eye. We have such beautiful views and such beautiful scenery around our campus. And meal plans. I have the 1650 meal plan, so the 1650 meal plan, and I have about 4 more weeks of school, and I have, I think, a little over $350 left on my meal plan. I know there's $600 meal plans, there's my meal plan, and then there's even $2,000 meal plans. And I will say, since UAS is a really small school, we don't have like a really intricate dining hall. We literally have one grill. That's it. But the food's really good. I was expecting it to be like okay food because it's school food, but 80% of the time the food is like actually really, really good, and I look forward to going and getting food. That's just another thing to look at when you're deciding on a university, if you like their housing and if you like the meal plans and the food they offer at the school. Next is look at student life, and what I mean by that is sororities, fraternities, sports, clubs, etc. When I was looking for a university, those weren't really high on my list. If I went my whole college experience without being in a university, I wouldn't really care. That's just me though. I know a lot of people, when I tell them UAS doesn't have sororities or sports, they're like, no, like I don't want to go there, which is fine. That just comes along with being a really small school. We have a couple clubs. None of them really piqued my interest, so I'm not in a club this year. But we really don't have sports teams. We really don't have sororities or fraternities at all. So if that's like a deal breaker for you, a small school really isn't the right thing for you, you probably would benefit the most at a school like Alabama or UCLA or USC, or a really big school with a really, really high Greek life. But for me personally, that just wasn't even in my thought process when I was picking a university. Next is, what is the town like? I guess this could go up with location, but what's your college town like? I love Juneau. Juneau is such a cute town. It's so beautiful. It has a lot of history to it. And it's the capital, which is even cooler because I can say I lived in the state capital for once in my life, because California's state capital is like hours and hours and hours away from me. But you have to make sure you like the location of your school and you like the town that it's in. Juneau offers in the fall a lot of whale watching, fishing, year-round hiking, and you have to make sure that that city is going to be best fit for you. If you like big cities like LA, you probably will not thrive in a small town like Juneau. But if you are from a small town like Juneau and you want to go to a big school with a big city, you're probably gonna thrive in like Alabama or LA or Florida. But personally for me, I really like the small town. I'm from a semi-small town. My little city is suburban. There's not a lot of skyscrapers or anything, but I really love Juneau. I love the small town feel. Next, and probably one of the most important things for whoever is paying for your college, the cost. My mom pays for the majority of my college along with financial aid, and I do help out whenever I can, like I'll pay for summer classes and stuff like that. But the cost is a huge thing. I applied to Cal State schools because they are 9 times out of 10 relatively much cheaper. But UAS is really cheap for out-of-state students. I mentioned in another video, I'm not going to say the exact amount that was paid for my school, but my tuition cost less for out-of-state tuition than it would have in California for in-state tuition. So if you're looking for a relatively cheap school, UAS is really great. You can check out a bunch of different private colleges. You would think that private universities, you are like, oh, they're more expensive. But my friend goes to University of New England, which is a private university, but she said that she gets a lot of scholarships. So you'll just have to think about, do you want to go to a private school? Do you want to go to a small school? Do you want to go to a big school? And then you're going to have to look at the cost. I think pretty much every university website that I've been on has like a cost calculator, but I did it on UAS and it was not accurate at all because I don't think it will take into account your financial aid because everyone gets different financial aid help. So yeah, just think about the cost if your parents are paying for it. I know my mom was like, dude, if you like the smaller, cheaper school, you're gonna want to go with that. I want you to go there. So yeah, just whatever fits your budget best. And lastly, just some advice that I took for myself when finding the university that I was going to attend. Tip number 1 is follow all the universities you're applying to on social media because it will give you a really big insight into student life and you can learn more about the campus from a visual perspective. And sometimes they'll do like student highlights and you can get a really good feel for student life and how the students like the university. Tip number 2 is reach out to past or current students. That's what I did when I found UAS. I reached out to a girl who graduated here in 2019 and she told me a little bit about the school and she actually helped a lot with my decision on applying here. So I highly recommend reaching out to some past or current students because I know I've gotten a couple DMs about, hey, like, I'm thinking about coming to UAS, can you give me some advice? And I am more than happy to talk to people about it. So I know other college students are more than happy to talk about their college experience at their university as well. Tip number 3 is to watch YouTube videos about your university. Day in the lives, Q&As, other videos like that. If you go to a really small school like I do, that could be hard to find, which is exactly why I make the videos that I do, because I could not find anything about UAS on YouTube except what UAS has uploaded, and I think that was uploaded like 2 or 3 years ago. But if you go to a really large school, watch YouTube videos, watch Day in My Lives, and you can really get a clear perspective on what it's going to be like going to that university. And lastly, tip number 4 is get excited. Any university you apply to could be your future school, and one of them will end up being your future school. So get excited about all the universities you apply to because you're gonna end up going to one of those, and it's better to be excited to go to all of them than be excited for one and then not get into there, and then you're not excited for one but then you end up going there. So get excited. College is really exciting. I love school up here. I've made such great friends. I have made such great relationships with my professors. But yeah, just get excited. This is a very exciting time in your life. Those were all of my tips, tricks, and ways I picked my university. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked it, give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.